All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Gentian's bi-weekly webinar. Great to have you on the call today. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning. We know that you have an agenda of your own, and our intent is to deliver hopefully some good information today for you all. So Chris Doty has the day off today and spending some time with the family. So I'm Ken Flannery with Gentian Financial, one of the retirement planners here. We'll also hear from Zach and Mike, things of that nature. But just wanted to say good morning to everybody. Great weather right now out here in Wisconsin. Not sure where you're tuning in from. A lot of people are in different states right now, but glad to be here with you all. It's been a great summer so far. County fairs, state fairs, the air show was really spectacular this year as well. So all in all, a pretty good summer here in the state of Wisconsin. So I do want to take a moment here, since I get the platform a little bit here. I do want to take a moment to let you know that our hearts go out to some of you who've shared information with us that, losing family members, losing pets, sick, surgeries. We're having a lot of that right now. And yes, we met each other on the basis of financial planning, the plan it, live it, give it part of retirement. But know that we are here for you for more than that. So if you do need us, you get caught in a pinch and maybe a family member isn't around, by all means, we're here for you to do some of those small things that you may need. So we care about you. We want to be with you, and our hearts go out to you during these times that you're going through as well. So today's agenda, we're going to hear from Zach with Zach's Facts, of course, with the market updates. We're going to hear from Mike on Mike's minute or two. He said he might go a little longer today. He might even have 3 minutes in there. We're also going to talk about what we're doing behind the scenes when we're not necessarily meeting with you in meetings. And we want to bring some of those ideas to you and some of those things that we are working on for you if you'd ever need those in your life. And Zach's going to talk about that a little bit today as well. Then, of course, you might hear a little bit from Ken's Corner. I can't call because that's like myself talking right now, but might hear a little bit on the financial planning side as well. But also we're going to hear from Angie at the end here on the Gentian happenings here at the end of the webinar. So, of course, you guys know what we do. We like to go big. I'll kick it off here and get ourselves in a great mindset, get ourselves focused on the positive right now. My go big is, I got to see some old friends in Wausau recently. Had a get together up there over this last weekend, and I haven't seen some of these friends in 20 years. And when we read books about retirees, one of the big things is connecting with old friends. And that even happens, I'm in my 40s, and that even happens now. You don't have to be a retiree for that to happen. Connecting with old friends is something that's special, makes you feel good about everything that's going on. And a lot of you know that I like to go out to St. Germain. This next week is my family vacation up to St. Germain, which is around Rhineland or around Minocqua, Eagle River. We get to spend some time together as a family and do some fishing and things of that nature. So a great time to be looking forward to that. So with that being said, we'll pass it over to Zach. Zach, what's your go big today?
Yeah, thank you, Ken. My go big is actually for go big. So many of you know that fitness is a passion of mine, and usually have a run in and always a workout class in starting at 5:30, and kind of a routine that we have now with a few of us in the class is we work out and then we go get coffee together afterwards in the third ward in Milwaukee. And we're usually always talking about different things. And finally one morning I was like, you know what, let's just go big. Let's go big. And we started kind of bouncing around gratitudes, and all of a sudden you could just feel connection and people kind of letting their guard down and sharing things that they maybe never would have shared with anyone. And to bring that out, and really it's just fascinating to see the impact that gratitude has on all of us in some form. And I'm just extremely grateful for the amazing people in my life here at the office, and you guys and friends outside of it that really appreciate the act of gratitude as well.
That's great, Zach. It's good to see that your workout group is coming together like that as well. So it does make a big difference. It changes the mindset of a lot of people, and whoever's working out at 5 o'clock in the morning already has a good mindset. So with that being said, let's pass it over to Mike. Mike, what's on your mind these days of going big?
Yeah, I'm grateful that I got to sleep past 5 o'clock this morning. It was great. But no, seriously, I'm grateful for pets, specifically dogs. I've grown up in a dog family my entire life. And recently, my girlfriend and I, Sabrina, we just got a little husky Pomeranian puppy, number 2 actually. So it's been exciting. I'm super grateful for the patience that it has taught me, and also, just dogs in general, because they just bring so much joy to the world. Sometimes you wish that they understood that they could do that. But anyways, back to Ken's corner.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Mike. Yeah, that's awesome having the dogs around. Always makes people in a good mood when there's a dog or a pet or a cat around. So that's pretty awesome. So Angie, are you with us right now? I know you're gonna come on a little later with the Gentian happenings, but I do see you there. We are going big, and if you'd like to pop on, we'd love to hear what your go big is, Angie.
Hey everyone. So my go big is my daughter is starting her junior year in college. So we are getting ready for the big move. She will be officially moved in as of next weekend, but it's been a process throughout the month of August, just slowly moving her into her new apartment. So I am grateful for that, and I'm excited for what the year is going to bring for her.
Oh, very good, Angie. Good to hear that your daughter's spreading her wings and starting to fly a little more, right? That's pretty awesome. So, well, thank you all. Is Peter there too? I'm not sure. I see Peter there. Would Peter like to come on and say something he's grateful for? He may not be there anymore, but oh, here he comes, I think. Hey,
I
Peter.
am still here. Thanks, Ken.
All right.
I'm grateful this past weekend I got to spend some time with my sister and her family, Claire, who I haven't gotten to see for a while. So I'm just grateful for the ability and opportunity to do that.
Oh, fantastic, Peter. Connection with family there. That's awesome. So always, we like to hear about your go big as well, that the people that are listening right now, we'd love to hear about that. So feel free, you can email us, you can talk to us in meetings. We love to hear what's on your mind as well. So there's some interesting stuff going on. A big bill just passed, as far as the economic piece there goes. Mike may touch on that a little bit here. But when you look at what's really going on, there's been a rebound in the markets. A lot of you open up your July statements, and even August is turning out to be a pretty good month as well. These months, you just never know when the markets are going to turn around like that. So again, everything could change tomorrow as well after we get off this webinar, or it could change today as we're speaking right now. But that's the reason why we have that faith, patience, and discipline in your financial plan, is because we never know when things are going to happen. And we're very much prepared for the different categories in your portfolio, whether it's income, whether it's growth, whether it's both. Usually it's both. So just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page there as well. So some interesting points I've been reading recently about is the economic outlook. It's pretty fraught. A lot of people think, with inflation, with interest rates going up, it's kind of a negative talk right now about the economy right now. So, but what's interesting is that, earnings estimates, you take a look at the fundamentals of the markets and what really is going on. Headlines do run things temporarily, but the fundamentals kick in longer term. And so when you look at that, the earnings estimates aren't necessarily coming down right now. So that's an interesting piece, because no one wants to look foolish. These analysts don't want to look foolish by being too bullish all the time, but they certainly haven't been bearish by any means as far as corporate earnings and estimates that are going on. So that's an interesting point right now. Also, inflation, it's a buzzword. You all talk about it at family get-togethers, your friends. I mean, you're going to the grocery store, going to the gas pump. We feel it. You know it. We feel it just with you. I got a family of 4 kids. I'm feeling it at the grocery store for sure. These kids are eating me out of house and home right now, but that's okay. That's all part of having a large family. But inflation is very real. But when you look at that, the dollar isn't collapsing right now. Inflation means that the dollar isn't worth as much, and that may be the case temporarily, but the dollar isn't collapsing right now. So I think that's an interesting point. Gold really hasn't shot up like everybody thought it would in uneasy economic times either. So, there's just a few things that are going on that just aren't in line with some of the things that are being talked about. I just want to bring that to your attention as well. So, Lisa, our very own Lisa, got to go back to her home country of England to see mom and dad, and sounds like mom is doing pretty good. And so, but when you look at the dollar and the euro, they're at parity right now. That hasn't happened for years and years and years. So I'm pretty sure Lisa went on a spending spree when she was over back home because of that parity going on right now. So very interesting stuff. So just a few pieces we're looking at, a few pieces that we're making sure we're on top of for you all. With that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Zach and like to hear a little bit about Zach's facts and what's going on with the market, Zach.
Yeah, thank you, Ken, and tremendous point on the earnings of companies as well. And that kind of leads into one of the items that we had here for you today. And 90% as of last Wednesday of S&P 500 companies actually reported their earnings. 75% of them actually exceeded analysts' expectations, even with all of those different headwinds that Ken mentioned, like supply chain, inflation, various other things. one of the really interesting things inside of it is that the IT, the technology sector, accounted for actually 87% of the companies in the IT sector actually exceeded earnings. So if you guys remember from previous webinars, technology has temporarily been down the most year to date. And to see that 87% of them actually cleared their targets is really fascinating. And that kind of leads into the year-to-date returns. And now Ken mentioned a pretty darn good recovery since the end of June. And we'll just go through year-to-date and kind of the 1 month returns in each of the categories, and I'll round to the nearest 10th decimal place to save you guys a few numbers. But the S&P 500 temporarily down 9.7 on the year. The 1 month return is actually up 9.36. The Dow Jones temporarily down 6.0 on the year. The 1 month return positive 7.3. The NASDAQ, which if you remember from other webinars as well, is that 50% of it is weighted in technology, is down temporarily 16.25% on the year with a 1 month return of 11.9. So one of the best recoveries there in the technology side of things. The Russell 2000, which tracks smaller sized companies, temporarily down 10% on the year with a 1 month return of 12.3% positive. On the growth and value portion of those smaller sized companies, growth is still temporarily down 15.7, but a 1 month return of 13.3 in the positive direction. The value side, only temporarily down 4.4% on the year with a 1 month return of 11.3. So really just fascinating to see the double-digit returns in an extremely short amount of time, and just shows exactly like Ken mentioned as well, is just the faith, patience, and discipline. We don't know when those 1 months are going to happen. Really no good news until this last week came out over the last month, but yet had double-digit returns. And really the beautiful thing about that as well is that if your account was due for rebalance anytime really from the beginning of the year till now, we were buying more of a lot of the things that went up during the last month. You know, the small cap growth, the large cap growth, the technology weighted type things. So it's really amazing the impact that rebalancing has to reduce risk, most importantly, but also potentially take advantage and maximize return as well. One thing that we wanted to talk through, and I remember joining Gentian 4.5, almost 5 years ago now. And I always was curious why we always talked about corrections. Every seminar, every time we were in team meetings and going through. And as you're here long enough and learn from Chris and Ken and our other mentors in the industry, is that corrections are single-handedly the most important thing to navigate. And that's what we're here for you for. So if you're in retirement, it's why we have bonds. It's why we secure income. It's why we rebalance. If you're currently working, it's why it's most important to still contribute to your accounts, if not put in more, and make sure it's going into the proper buckets, whether it's Roth or pre-tax. And we're here for you for these corrections. These are needed and necessary. It doesn't mean that this tremendous month, everything's going to be great from here. We could have more volatility on the downside coming, but we know what we're going to do through those. And most importantly, we know what we're not going to do through those. One thing that Ken mentioned is just what we're doing behind the scenes, kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit. We're always looking at different tax law changes, different financial planning strategies. But one thing that we have a big emphasis on as well is that we're constantly meeting with what we call centers of influence. As we know, the world is getting more and more complex, more real changes, hard to find great information out there. So we're always looking for other professionals in industries where it's not necessarily our expertise, where we always try to grow as individuals and as a team to know as much as we can, but oftentimes it falls out of our purvey, and we want to find people that we trust that can help you with those. Those are always tax accountants, estate planning attorneys, health insurance specialists. Those are directly involved in your financial plan. But there's a couple that we're actually meeting with that you might not even realize that we are, like bankers, lenders, charitable organization leaders. For those of you that are charitable minded, we're trying to find like-minded people in those industries. And most recently as well, I actually met with a real estate agent that specialized in helping people 55 years and older transition out of their home in some form. So helping them navigate the estate sale, the coordination with buyers and sellers, the potentially downsizing, the decisions to make whether it stays within the family. So we're really trying to find experts in their various industries where they can teach us about their industry, but most importantly, that we can introduce you to them and that we can kind of screen them ahead of time and trust them. So we are extremely active with that, and is a huge emphasis for us. And we just wanted to share that with you. We're always doing it. We don't always do a great job of sharing it with you that we do it. And real quickly, just for the conclusion of Zach's facts, just an interesting fact, and kind of as Chris mentioned, is we always try to be hope dealers with the markets, but also with life. And I recently read yesterday morning, kind of regarding prostate cancer, that 1 in 8 U.S. men actually experience prostate cancer. If it's caught early enough, it's fairly treatable, as many of you potentially know or have gone through it yourself. But there's unbelievable things happening in the healthcare industry and the convergence of the technologies that Chris talks about. And there's a compound coming out that they kind of call a smart bomb. So it is something that only found in the prostate cancer cells, and they can directly target that without harming anything around it. So just gives a ton of hope for the things coming out, especially with cancer, especially with prostate cancer. And a doctor that was in the field for 30 years said it's the largest advance he's ever seen in the last 30 years. So just incredible to see the different advances, and really exciting for different things coming in the future. With that, I'll pass it back to you, Ken.
Oh, fantastic, Zach. Appreciate that. A lot of great stuff happening in healthcare that can help us all out for sure. So good to hear that there is hope out there. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that, but there certainly is, and we're definitely progressing forward there. So interesting to hear that. So yeah, we have, we mentioned the partners, the centers of influence. That's a great piece that you mentioned there. Estate planning attorneys, health insurance partners, tax accountants. We try to vet these out for you. So when you do need someone or do have a question about it, we hope to have the right person in place for you there. That's our intention there. So just if you ever wanted something reviewed, like I just mentioned the client the other day, estate planning, he wants it reviewed, and we have some great partners for that. It's been a while. 2004, 2006 was the last time. So, a few years have changed. A few things have changed, right? So the estate used to be up to 600,000 at that point in time. Now it's 12 million. So a lot of things have changed since 04 and 06. So just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you, Zach, for bringing that to everyone's attention. We appreciate that very much. So, as you know, Chris usually leads these. There's usually a dad joke involved in here. So I'm going to throw one out here. It is summertime. A lot of people are in the pool. And so, so I do have to say this one. Why can elephants swim whenever they want? It's because they always have their trunks with them. So with that being said, we're gonna pass it over to Mike now. But before we do that, though, Zach brought up a really good point. Everybody likes to ring the bell at the top of the market. Everybody likes to say, and we don't know if we're at the top of the market, the bottom of the market. That's not the point of what I'm trying to say right now. But everyone likes to try to say, oh, this is the top, this is the top. The bell rings, the bell rings. But what's interesting is that no one rings the bell at the bottom. No one does. No one says, oh, this is the bottom. Here we go. This is it. So it's always usually the top. It's always more of a scare tactic than anything. But when you look at the returns this last month and a half, what led the way down temporarily led the way up temporarily as well. That's very common. That happens quite often. And when we do your rebalancing, like Zach mentioned, that's a beautiful thing that's happening there. So we're buying low, and then we're typically selling high as well. So it's a wonderful thing there. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Mike Mann on our team for Mike's minute or two, and let's see what's on Mike's mind these days.
Perfect. Thanks, Ken. Yeah, you kind of queued it up a little bit earlier. A bill just passed the House, and what that is it's an inflation relief bill. It's not something that's gone into law yet, but what it is that next year it looks like they're looking to raise the IRA and Roth IRA contribution limits temporarily, and also the 401k retirement plan contributions. So they want to raise each one of those by $3,000 for the IRA and Roth for 2023. And they want to raise retirement contributions $4,000. Plus you would still have your catch up for anybody who's over the age of 50. So that's something that's kind of in the works right now. Those are things that we're always kind of looking at and we're kind of prepared for. We always, though, we act on what we know. And as much as speculating on the market is something that we're going to do, I would say that speculating on tax law is probably even less clear in certain cases. There's just so many different movements and different things that can happen at any given time that something like this might not come to fruition like it is in its current capacity. But we're going to watch for it, and when it will, we'll bring it to you right away. So some of the other things that, that we're kind of hearing and kind of doing behind the scenes, and Zach touched on a lot of the stuff that we do out in the community, things that we do to bring stuff for you. But something that we also do internally is that we're constantly upgrading our technology. These are things that we don't really, ever express, but we've made ways that we can connect with you at any given time, not just through Zoom, but to be able to make sure that things are secure, all your files, everything that we have through you. We have different networks put in place and different ways of accessing that information that's constantly been evolving this entire time. And also how we communicate with each other here. We recently just switched between one messenger to another because it allowed for better chat, quicker things, quicker communication between us gives us the ability to have better service for you. And those are things that we're constantly doing, constantly evolving. There's a lot of financial advisors out there. I've worked with some, I've known them, who just kind of want to stick in the same path of what they've done because it's got them there. And now they're there and they're okay with that. But we are trying to grow. I mean, we're trying to invest back in us. And in turn, by doing that, we're investing in you. And so to keep rolling here, looking at the stock market. So I had 4 or 5 meetings with some of our fund partners this last weekend, the direct representatives who talk with portfolio managers, the people working with it. And they shed a little bit more light on kind of what we already knew. A lot of it is, just confirmation of some of the things that we've been thinking, but also bringing some different ideas to the table. And so we've talked about it before, there could have been a surprise with technology earnings because of the idea, and maybe not just specifically because, but an idea is that inflation has lessened an effect on technology because they offer a program as a service. It's not a physical good. They obviously have to pay to get things, and companies that invest in that technology have to be doing well. And a lot of times those are the bigger ones that have physical products that are buying, that program. So that's all factors that can lead into it. But here we are with a technology surprise, and it has given us a little bit of an upside and a little bit of a run here. Now, are we in a bear market? Maybe. That's kind of what it's going to be. It could come back down. There's been a lot of good things out there. Like we've had a really positive jobs report. On the flip side of that jobs report, what else is all at an all-time high is people taking on 2 jobs. So that's going to increase kind of artificially the idea of the job support or jobs report, I should say, and kind of brings the idea that, people are feeling inflation. They're feeling like they need to work more to be able to maintain what they have. And so these are things that we're looking at, like there's always the positives, and we can always talk about the positives. There's always the negatives, and you can focus on that, but that really just pollutes kind of what's going on here. And at the end of the day, we don't know. So staying invested is truly the best route to go. In the recent letter that Chris sent to everybody, one of the best pieces and one of the out of that letter that I thought resonated with me the most is that the worst thing an investor can do is sell their high quality equity portfolio into a bear market. I just feel like that just speaks volumes. We're talking about high quality equities. We're not just speculating on companies that might be it, that might be this next big thing. These are things that are either carrying momentum to get to that point, could potentially be there, or are there. Everything's been depreciated. We're not going to go sell Apple right now. We're not going to go sell Microsoft. I mean, a lot of these companies have battled back and they've done really well in the last month and a half. But at that point, those are buying opportunities in great companies. And that's stuff that we take advantage of when we rebalance, like Zach had stated. So, all right, Ken, what was the timer on that one?
I think you might be running 4 minutes on that one, Mike, but that's okay. It was all good stuff there. And yes, owning iconic companies around the world in a great diversified strategy is a wonderful thing. So it's a really good piece you bring up there. So a little bit on the planning side, again, home equity lines of credit are coming up all the time in my meetings for whatever reason. Financing items, bridge loans. We have a lot of different ways to do this. There's security-based lending that's available. There's a lot of different ways to fund and bridge things. So, but home equity lines of credit, I learned something pretty new. I'm not going to give all the details right now of it, but there are ways, as when you look at the introductory rate versus, for home equity line of credit, I'm talking about, there's an introductory rate for usually the first year or so. And then it goes back to like a normalized rate. There's actually something in some cases, not all the cases, in some cases, we're able to get back to the introductory rate sometimes. So that's a big change. And again, I don't know if that's going to hold true through all the lenders that are out there, but I know a few partners that we do work with, that is the case. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I learned that one about 3 or 4 weeks ago, introduced by a client of ours who went through it and told us about it. So thank you very much for that piece. Really appreciate that. So with that being said, you know, we're going to bring Angie on here pretty soon to finish things up with the Gentian happenings. I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. Thank you for who's on this webinar today. We appreciate you more than you probably know. Without you, this isn't possible. We wouldn't be doing this. So thank you very much. Also want to thank you for the introductions you've given to us. You know, in the last 6 months or so, it's been amazing. We got to meet a lot of your family members, friends, coworkers, people you love and care about. We just want to say thank you for that. We appreciate that very much from the bottom of our hearts. We continue, our intent is to provide you with the great service, hopefully you felt over the years, but also even the newer introductions that you're giving, the same intent there is. That's why we have the team. So I want to give a quick shout out to the team as well. Thank you for all that you do with the events and the clients and everything. Thank you for what you do and what you bring to the clients as far as the team goes. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Angie, and she's going to tell us what's going on here at Gentian.
Thanks, Ken. So a few reminders for everyone to wrap up the month of August, and some save the dates for September as well. So next Wednesday, our office will have limited availability as our team focuses on our development and planning. So that will be roughly from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We will be sure to get back to you right after that, but during those hours, we will have limited availability. In 2 weeks from now, we have our bi-weekly update. So that's going to bring us to September. Actually, that's August 31st. So join us again for that. A few reminders for September. Believe it or not, we're going to be heading into September, wrapping up summer here. So hopefully you guys get to enjoy the holiday weekend that's going to be coming up here shortly. And as a reminder, our office will be closed on Monday, September 5th for Labor Day. Save the dates, which invites will follow shortly. So watch the bulletin, your emails, your mail. Our September birthday club is going to be September 14th. So if you have a birthday in September, we ask that you come and join us as we celebrate you for lunch and dessert here at the Gentian office. Again, invites to follow and more details in the upcoming bulletins. Ladies and Gentian, our webinar will be September 28th. So hold on to that date, ladies. We will send out the invite for that, and that planning is in the works right now. So we have something fun planned for you guys, and we hope that you can join us. We love seeing your faces and bonding with the women of Gentian.
Thank you, Angie. Great recap of what's going on here at Gentian. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the hard work from everybody on the team. Just wanted to say thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you. You know, we are Gentian Financial. We are here to plan it, live it, give it as far as retirement goes. And if there's anything we can do for you in the future, big or small, please let us know. We're here for you for sure. And if there's anything that you need from us, let us know. Until then, have a good day. Enjoy yourselves. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.